Hey guys, it's Jenny, and I'm here to talk about volunteer reporting and monitoring and evaluation. During Reconnect, we had our session about M&E and how to use the VRF, and a lot of people were concerned about there not being some sort of reporting sheet or reporting tracking sheet that we could use ongoing to keep track of our data. And so I went back and put something together, and hopefully you guys find it useful, something you'll be willing to use to help you when you're reporting your numbers to Peace Corps. But with that said, numbers are relatively important, but really, a lot of the work that we do is not something we can track by numbers. So keep that in mind as well. Numbers, they paint a picture, but sometimes your words and what you're actually doing is not something that we can track in in a database or on a spreadsheet. Anyway, so moving forward, I'm gonna show you how to kind of work from one to the other, and hopefully you'll see how using this spreadsheet can make doing the VRF a lot easier. So we'll go into my Google Docs. It's Data Tracker 2.0. Once you get it, you'd probably want to rename it or actually save a copy. So file, make a copy, and then name it for something name it some way that works for you. Something that helps you kind of understand and remember where it's at. Whatever, however you want to save it. Anyways, so going in, I made these drop boxes. So your activity, what kind of activity is it? School class, extracurricular club, SAO project, yada yada. So you'd select one of those and then title it however works for you. Peace Corps recommends you do like the grade B6 and then English and life skills, kind of the activity of that class. And then, obviously you need to give it the start date and end date. All this information you're going to then transfer into the VRF. From there, you have the list of objectives, and then under the objectives are the indicators for those objectives. So vocational skills is the indicator for English life skills, positives, identity, self-esteem, positive communication to gender norms is for life skills. And so as you're entering in information, you'd enter in based on that column. So kind of like so. So starting off, you're going to want to enter in your participants' demographics. So their names, their gender, their age, and then the in and out of school. Are they currently learning in an educational setting, or are they not? Students that are out of school typically are graduated, have dropped out, or are not registered into an educational program. At least that's my understanding. So enter that information in, and then you worked with them under what objectives and what indicators. So we did English skills, vocational English skills. For the students that only participated but have not achieved, you would select P. So we could say, starting off, they all just participated. And then maybe over time, as you're working with them, you could say, okay, Prim has achieved and Basil has achieved, and move on from there. And then maybe you feel that all of them have achieved, or a few of them have achieved, and you could move on to you're moving on to the next topic, and you do positive communication. So maybe you start with that, and also positive identity. So depending on what it is that you're working on in this class, you don't necessarily have to have only one objective for each activity. Oftentimes multiple classes, you work on multiple different objectives. So you can use one sheet to track a lot of unique objectives. So then you could say in that same reporting period, in your service, you did a camp, not necessarily a reporting period, but you did a camp, and let's say it was an English camp, and you had 5 students, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. since this is a camp and it was a one-day event, their names are really relatively insignificant. It doesn't matter because you're not tracking them over a period of time. So just knowing their names, and then whether or not they achieved, maybe they did a pre-test, post-test, you were able to link those together. Maybe they just did a post-test and you were able to show, okay, this male didn't pass the post-test, this person did. However you are reporting or however you have decided achievement works or what it works for that specific activity. So then you can go to your indicators page and it already totals up for you. So you have those 2 activities that focused on English that totaled them together. So English vocational skills, here is your indicator, and it totals it up together right here. So you had 4 males total participate, 2 achieved, 6 females participated, 3 achieved, and that totals for you there. And then you have the other, we also did positive communication and positive identity. So now you can go back to this sheet. You can go back to the reporting form. So I'm going to use Alex's reporting. Nope, that was my old one. So this is Alex's activity. So this is the sample that we sent out during PST. So this would have been the first VRF form that you would work on. So you've already done this, but let's retitle this to school class, like it is in the data sheet. So school class, B6, English, and life skills. Okay, so then we can go next. It's going to ask all those questions. This you know how to answer now. You answer that on your own. And then we go to participants. In the data sheet, it totals it up for you. So most of the time you're going to have more than 5 students in your activities. So if it's only 5, you probably do that math on your own. I'd hope so. You total it up. So 2 males, 3 females, all right? And then whether you use this area down here or not, it's really up to you. It's just somewhere you can put in who are your service providers, whatnot. If it's a one-time activity, you had some people come from somewhere else that helped with teaching. Maybe they were volunteers from the hospital or something, not someone you know. You might want to put that in so you can remember their gender and ages and whatnot. If you have a good memory, you might not need to use that. So then you could just total that in. Next, we can go to objectives, and so this class had 2 objectives, English and life skills. We can go back to activities, and we had the camp as well. So in participants, so let's go to sheet 2, activity 2, participants. I'll talk while I'm doing this. So I've made all the sheets where there's about 300 spots for participants. I hope that is enough for everyone. If for some reason a situation arises where that's not enough, get in touch with me. I can fix it for you. I hope that no one's having to work with that many students, but you never know. Anyway, so again, total participants, it totals it up here. We had 2 males and 3 females again. And then objectives in this situation for this camp was just English life skills. So we can save and then go to indicators and start with the indicators. So actually, let's go back real fast. Indicators here, all the objectives that you selected in your activities will show up with the attached indicators here. So positive, identity, and life skills. Now we can go to indicator totals and enter in the totals from here into our indicators page. So the only activity that we had that worked on life skills in this reporting period, or in this time is this one, you'd select that. And then it wants to know how many achieved first. We still have 0 achieved, but we had 1 male participate. And then we had 3 female, 0 achieved in females, but 3 participated. You can go to the next. And so on and so forth. So like select the activity and then enter in the numbers that correspond, blah, blah, blah. We didn't focus on that. We got this one. Okay, so now we're in English. Now for English, you have 2 activities. You'd select both of them and then enter in the numbers. 2 achieved, 4 participated, 3 achieved, 6 participated. So this is where, like, it amongst all your activities, it's totaling it up for you in the spreadsheet, which I think the more activities you do, the harder it gets. And if you want to take a look at what I have, this is life skills. Over the course of my service, I've worked with 307 students, just throughout different activities. This is the number of people that I've worked with, trying to, and I've done a lot of activities, so over time it's been kind of like totaling it all up together. It gets kind of crazy. And if we look at my activities, I have 5 sheets of activities. Some of them are not things that I needed to track numbers on. Some of them are camps and other things that don't have any numbers associated with them, but a lot of things are in here that I have like 3 or 4 activities that all track life skills, and so totaling those numbers up together can get kind of complicated. So then from here, I guess the next thing is like moving forward in this indicator sheet. Once you do your new VRF, I recommend at this point entering in all your data that you have already entered into your VRF into the data sheet. Enter that in, and then it'll give you the totals that you have up until this point. And then when you go to do your new VRF, if you've opened it already, you'll see that the numbers you've already entered in from your last reporting period are already there. They're in gray. They can't be changed. And at this point, you would be adding numbers to it. So assuming, we'd go back and say last reporting period, we had 4 participated and 2 achieved for English. But then in our English class, we had 3 more students come. So we had Ja and Steve and Bob. I gave up on tie names. We'd enter in their demographics: male, 12. I don't know. New kids move in. And so for these students, let's say at this point they're only participating in English, but then let's also say Bob moved. Bob no longer is a student. So these students are participating, but now you've lost Bob. You're not going to take him off the sheet, right? You're going to keep him on there because you want to track that he existed, that he participated at one point in time, but you would no longer add any new participation for him, right? He would just be blank from this point on. Any new activities or any new objectives or indicators that you work on with the class, if someone's not present for that day, they would be blank. They wouldn't they wouldn't have a letter there with that activity. And then you can go in, and so like if this would be our new reporting period, it shows that now you have 7 totally participated in English, but 4 were already reported for. You already reported 4 of those students in a specific activity, and so now you have 3 additional participants. And that's important because, like I said, this past numbers are never going to go away. So you want to add this in every time. Keep adding. This is always going to total. It's always going to keep adding up. It's just going to always total get larger and larger. And then this one is the number you previously recorded, and then this would be the new number that you would the additional added, and to kind of reflect that in mine. Let's go ahead and reopen my VRF really fast. We can look at indicators again. And so for example, 3 activities, new activities that it was reporting on, but all the activities that meet that objective are there. And this is the previous, this is the additional total, and now the new numbers are reported here. So this is where you would add that stuff in. Alright, that's pretty much all I have. I hope that makes sense. This is hopefully easier than trying to do all the numbers and cross math for yourself. I don't know. Math isn't if you love math, then do it any way you want. But if this is something you find useful, go ahead and use it. I will send it out through the Facebook page, and then also, here if you have any questions, concerns, anything at all, if your service is maybe not going great, or you're stuck, or things are going great and you just want to say hi. I only have a few more months left, so I'm excited to hear what you guys are doing still. I'm proud of everyone's achievements so far, and like I said, I'm here if you guys need any help, or if you just want to talk, or want to hang out. And that's about it. I look forward to seeing you guys at some point hopefully before I go. If I don't, I will make another message to say goodbye, but it's been great so far. So good luck on your next year, and Happy New Year. Lakna, choop choop.